Good morning, everyone. My name is Kennedy Wells, your KSLA streaming anchor, and today we are going live to the Government Plaza where Shreveport Mayor Tom Arsenault and the interim director of water and sewerage for Shreveport will be discussing the updates to the water main break issue that happened yesterday on Sunday, March 1st. So, because of the break in the water main, there has been low water pressure for many Shreveport residents throughout the city over the course of the past few days. I know I have experienced low water pressure at my home, and even schools have closed due to the low water pressure. So, schools that are south of Northwood High School have been closed and moved to virtual learning because the low water pressure did not allow for them to have school today. So, this water pressure issue has been a big deal for Shreveport residents. And earlier today on KSLA this morning, we had Shreveport Mayor Tom Arsenault come and speak to us a little bit about some of the updates that are going on. And you can find that full interview on our KSLA socials and on our KSLA website, where we have the entire issue and everything that he said in relation to this matter. But currently, let's take a look over at the Government Plaza. One second, I'm going to set it up for you guys because I want us to be able to see inside because it hasn't quite started yet. It's just kind of getting set up. But let's switch on over. Yes, let's switch on over. Okay, so we are here at the Government Plaza, and this is where the water main break updates will happen. As you can see, it has not quite yet started, but soon we will hear from Mayor Tom Arsenault, who's the mayor of Shreveport, and the interim director of water and sewerage for the city to see what updates are being made on this issue and to see what we're doing to move forward. So, according to the release that we were given, uh, the water and sewage director, along with Shreveport Mayor Tom Arsenault, will discuss the current status of the water main while also going over what repairs are being made, going over the impacts that are being made on residents and their lives and their day to day, and also the next steps moving forward. So, hopefully, this will be resolved soon. I know that we are experiencing low water pressure here at KSLA. We're experiencing it everywhere in Shreveport. I know that they put the west zone of Shreveport under a water boil advisory. So the west zone meaning, because I know some people have questions about what is the west zone. So this is just the west of Shreveport. There is a boil advisory going on because we don't. It's optional though, so it's not. You know, you have to boil your water, but they said it's an optional boil advisory that is happening. So with the water main break, bring this over here. With the water main break, we have seen that the city and Shreveport Water and Sewerage Department has been responding to the transmission main break since yesterday, and contractors have been mobilized, and they are actively working to isolate the break and assess the extent of repairs needed. The repair crews remain on site and will continue working until the situation is stabilized and repairs are underway. Now, that was written by KSLA's very own Julia Daughtry yesterday as we first learned of the water break. And as a result of the water main break, some customers may experience lower than normal water pressure. So this could affect, your toilets and your sinks and everything like that. And there was also there's also, I think the mayor is coming. The mayor is coming out along with our city council members. So let's head on over and listen to what they have to say.
Mayor, good to see you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning. Thank you all for your patience. This is, as you probably know, a dynamic situation, not static, so we wanted to make sure we could give you as much good information as we possibly could this morning. All right, so what happened is overnight Saturday, we noticed that we were losing pressure at the plant and the water coming out of the plant. Mr. Sneed and his team were on site by 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, and they have been basically on the go and at work ever since that time. We immediately notified contractors who were mobilized to isolate the break. The break is in a 42-inch concrete main inside the water plant, and it is one of the mains that feeds a good part of the city, so that's why we're having such widespread reports of low pressure and no pressure. It's underwater, which has made identifying the origin more difficult, and Homeland Security has been advised. We have initiated the Emergency Operations Center, and so all parties are involved on a regular basis, on an hourly basis, to make sure that we can address this situation as quickly and as effectively as we can. First, I want to acknowledge to the citizens of Shreveport that we know this is an inconvenience to you. We understand low water pressure disrupts daily life, showers, schools, businesses, and everybody else. We apologize for the inconvenience, but I also want to know that we have an all-hands-on-deck response to this. People are working 24 hours a day and will continue to work 24 hours a day until we have relief from this situation. I'll get into what that relief is going to look like. What we know that citizens are experiencing is some citizens have low pressure. Actually, some citizens have fairly normal pressure, and some citizens have no water pressure. We have the water output that we need. We're not able to push it out as well as we would like to. Higher elevations in parts of central and west Shreveport are seeing lower pressure. Citizens in West Shreveport are experiencing low pressure because the broken main serves West Shreveport. North Shreveport and downtown could see slightly higher than normal pressure in some places due to system imbalances, and they're working to address those imbalances. We are using both city water and sewer crews and emergency contractors, and it, as I said, is an all-hands-on-deck response. Because of the nature, this is a 42-inch concrete pipe that was installed in 1979. There are two things that we're doing. One of them is we are going to reroute the water flow on a temporary basis. So we have crews that are on their way now. Hopefully they will begin to work today. They will be bypassing the break so that we can put out water. That is going to take several days. So we're going to be in this for several days before we see a break. Our best case scenario so far appears to be we think we will have that temporary fix by Friday of this week, probably not before that. Once they have rerouted the water, then they can pump out where the leak is, where the break is, figure out what needs to be done, and do a permanent fix to that break. One of the things that will be good for that is there will be some additional valving installations that will help us in the event that this happens in any time in the future. We know we need to get from here to Friday. So here's what we would like to do, and we ask for citizens' cooperation. First of all, if you can delay laundry, please don't water your lawn. If you wish to fill your bathtubs, we ask you to do that in the middle of the day or very late at night. The morning and right after work are the two periods of time where we experience a lot of water usage, and everybody's water pressure will be better if we're not all trying to use the water pressure at the same time. Let's see. What that does is it helps maintain tank levels, and that will help level out pressure. Now, Brandon will speak in a little bit. We're working on our valving system to try and spread some of the pressure better across the city, but that will take a little time. We hope to have that today. We will be issuing a voluntary boil advisory for the entire water system, and it'll probably be in place through the next weekend, because once we get to the new permanent fix, we will not have a time to disinfect that pipe in time to avoid a boil advisory. So you can be prepared to have that. Let me speak a little bit about where we are today and why we have these problems. The water system is old. I am pleased to tell you that we have anticipated, we didn't get there quite quickly enough, but we anticipated these issues, and the voters approved $82 million in bond improvements for the water system in the 2024 bond. Several of those projects are under design, and they will be addressing these issues. We're not replacing this particular main, but we are replacing 2 others in the plant so that we will have up-to-date system changes. Unfortunately, we didn't get them in the ground before this event occurred. Let's see, anything else I want to cover? Yes. Let me first acknowledge the members of the City Council, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Reverend Green, what's your name? Dr. Jackson. I appreciate Reverend, hello, Jim. Good to see you.
Thank you, Chief.
Reverend Butcher. I'll give you Reverend Butcher. It has been quite a morning, as you might know. One of the things that I can tell you is we are unified. We have been discussing this with each other. I am very pleased at the level of cooperation among the parish, the school system, the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office, all the folks in the various places that need to address these issues. This is something that we do well, but this is a community-wide issue. We are a community of one Shreveport, and we need to act as one Shreveport and cooperate with each other through this crisis. We're going to have about a week of crisis, and that's what we really can expect here. So I'm going to introduce now Brandon Sneed, the Interim Director of Water and Sewerage, and he'll make some remarks. He'll be followed by Madam Chair Tabitha Taylor, and then by Fire Chief Clarence Reese, and then Knox Andrus will talk about hospitals, and then I will make some very brief closing remarks, and then we'll open the floor up to, I'm sure, your many questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you guys for being here today. Brandon Sneed, Interim Director of Water and Sewerage. Mayor covered a lot, so I'm going to talk about things we're doing right now. And as he mentioned, some of the valves in our system, what we're seeing basically is pressure is being diverted and it's being robbed from some other areas. So what we are doing is we're going to run our water model, which helps us indicate what valves are needed, and we're going to do some valving adjustments to try to distribute that water more evenly across the system. Now, what that will mean is if we're able to be successful at that is that some areas may still have lower than normal pressure. But our goal is to get as many people back in water as we can, even if it's lower pressure. That's the ultimate goal here. As he mentioned, contractors were immediately mobilized, have been on scene, and have been on site since the beginning. We continue to work with them and work with other experts. Parts are being fabricated. This is a very old line, and it's a very large line. And the composite makeup of this line makes it even more complicated, not to mention the valving scenarios. So we have parts being fabricated, and that is some of the delay in the time frame. You know, we can't hold a lot of these parts on the shelf because it is such a unique line size, which means also other cities do not have these parts available either. So those are some things we are working on right now, actively doing, and will continue doing until the temporary repair is in place sometime Friday, and then the permanent several days after that. Other things we are going to do is we're looking at some other options we have right now at the plant to be able to open back up some of those valves to help sustain even more pressure. So that's the ultimate goal. West Shreveport is being greatly impacted right now. Other areas in the city are also being impacted. But our goal is to try to provide as much water as we can, even if it is low pressure. We understand the magnitude of this, and we understand, and we're with the citizens. So we do thank everybody for their patience. We thank them for understanding and following our social medias so that all the messaging is clear and comes from us, so that there is no misinformation. Also, we will have more of a timeline and more updates for you as we go throughout the day, and our media team will put that information out. And that at this time, I guess I'm going to turn it over to Madam Chair.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank Madam Chair and my council colleagues for being here on today, because this water crisis situation affects all of our districts in different ways. What we want you to know is that we will be the mediators between the public and with the administration. So what I asked this morning is who has low water pressure, so I will be able to relay that information back to the administration. There will be distribution sites that will be set up for water, and they will announce them later at this time. I want to thank Sheriff Whitehorn and Homeland Security for being here, our Commissioner Victor Thomas for being here as well, because we're also thinking not just of the residents that are affected, but the businesses that are impacted as well. You know, we supply water to SWEPCO, to Calumet, and a number of large companies, so all of those things are affected. So we're monitoring all of those things closely. There may be things throughout the day that may change, so I want you to be aware of that. I want you to be abreast of that. But anything that you all see that changes in your neighborhood, then feel free to let us know. Caddo Parish Schools, Keith Burton is here as well. Also, there will be different changes and variations with the school system, so you all need to be aware of that. Understand that this is an ongoing event. As the mayor said, that we may not see anything that occur until Friday or into the weekend, so I do want you to be patient with us. At the same time, while you're being patient, please know that we're working collectively, as Mayor Arsenault said, to ensure that we provide all of the information that is necessary, because this is a public health emergency. Not having water is life. Water is life. And so we have to make sure that we get water to you the most expeditious way as possible. We hear, I cannot think of your name, I'm sorry. Knox is here to talk about those individuals that receive dialysis, and then we have to look at those that are in-home dialysis. So I just want you to know that everybody is working, so we're probably going to be up all night. If you know me, you know how I update social media. But what I want you to do is not listen to fallacies. All this information will be posted on the City of Shreveport's website, water and sewer website. On those official social media pages is where you need to receive your information, not for somebody that's just talking off the cuff. And when the water distribution, again, please do not do this. There are those that do not have any water. Do not come and take water when you don't need it. Go to the store and buy your water, okay? Think about the individuals who do not have water, all right? There are those that are highly affected. As I say, in my district, North Shreveport, there seems not to be a problem in that area, and I'm thankful for that. But in other parts of our districts, yes. In Councilwoman Bowman's area, in West Shreveport, there are people, and also Dr. Jackson, there are people without water at all. So let's make sure that we look out for our neighbors. We will share information with you, and we want you to share that with our elderly individuals and those with disabilities. So there are a number of partners that we have in place. I want to thank the men and women of the Water and Sewer Department that are out there working. I want to thank the Shreveport Police Department as well, but understand that this is a collective event, and we're working towards making sure that we have water so we can flow free, because you know I have to go to the beauty shop and get my hair done.
So good morning. There's nobody that wants this to be fixed faster than me. I want my kids to be back in school like tomorrow. So we are all on the same page. We want this fixed as quickly as possible. Let me first state that fire stations are strategically placed in neighborhoods, so we do have about 7 fire stations that are being affected. They're not shuttling water to us. We're not privileged to have water like that. So we are facing the same things that many of the citizens are facing. So as of right now, we're responding with we've contacted Bossier City Fire Department. We are using one of their tankers. The citizens approved at last budget cycle a tanker, and this administration a tanker. We're going to get that this morning. It was not quite ready. However, we are in dire need of it, so they're going to pick that up this morning. Those tankers will roll to every fire initially. And we will still have pressure on some of those fire hydrants. And if there's not enough pressure, we have ways with our fire trucks to boost that pressure. So as of right now, for fire safety, you are safe. We ask that you practice fire safety. Make sure you check your smoke detectors. Make sure you have 2 ways out. And we are not committed to making an interior attack until we make sure that we have water for those firefighters. We want to keep them safe also. So several of those stations have portalets and hand washing stations. We are doing everything we can, just as the citizens are doing. Nothing further.
Well, good morning. Hi, I'm Knox Andrews. I'm the Louisiana Region 7 Hospital Designated Regional Coordinator. I'm here to share some updates about the water impacts of the hospital. So this morning I've had reports from 7 hospitals in the Shreveport area that are experiencing low water pressure, as well as some of our dialysis partners. So in the Shreveport area we have dialysis, outpatient dialysis clinics represented by Fresenius, by DaVita, by DCI, and all of these healthcare provider types rely on water. It's very important. In the hospital, water is important for patient care. It's important and useful in surgeries and procedures. It's also important when you're having to heat or cool your building. And so we want our patients to be comfortable as much as possible. The good news is that we have very well exercised water outage plans in hospitals and now dialysis providers. So if you think back to Snowmageddon, February 2021, when we went for almost 10 days in Shreveport with substandard city water, we learned a lot from that particular water outage and that crisis. And then we've had subsequent water outages. I think there have been maybe 3 other incidents because of Arctic weather, snow-related events, where we've had to exercise our plans for water outages and where do we go. And so hospitals and dialysis providers are exercising those plans that they've put into place since those tragic events. We're adapting, we're overcoming. Yes, they're experiencing water shortages and water pressure variability, but they are on top of it at the moment, calling in the resources that they've identified and partnering with those that can help them. We will get through this. Thank you. Oh, first name is Knox, K-N-O-X. Last name is Andrus, A-N-D-R-E-S-S.
Superintendent Burton, do you want to say anything?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to the citizens, we do understand that we are in a crisis, and as everyone has said before, this is impacting your students and your families. During this time, we have shifted to virtual education. We do not know how long that will last, but we will be continuing to support students. Information will be sent out to each of you through our Canvas management system. That's our student information system that we use for instruction. So parents, please log into there. We also will be providing technology distribution sites for any families that need technology. I think it's important to know that we have the capacity to provide every student with an iPad, a laptop, a Chromebook, so that the instruction may be paused, but it doesn't end. So anyway, we are prepared. Our team is worked and will continue to work to ensure that we will support students through this crisis. Thank you.
Sheriff Whitehorn, would you like to say a few words?
Good morning, everyone. Sheriff Whitehorn, Caddo Parish. We have an emergency declaration signed and in place so that we can request assets from the National Guard and from GOSEF. I just received a text a few minutes ago from General Malfus. They're standing by, waiting to hear what we need in order to provide for the citizens of Caddo Parish. I've also talked with the Parish Commission, President, and Administrator, and also some of our state legislative delegation. So everybody is on board, just waiting to hear what the needs are, and we're going to make sure that we provide it to support the city of Shreveport.
Thank you, Sheriff. To make clear, we are making arrangements for bulk water and pallets of water. We're going to have 6 or 7 different distribution sites. They're actually arranging those sites as we're speaking here, and we will put out those sites as soon as we have them and know when the water is likely to arrive. In the meantime, we ask for everybody's patience and understanding. We're a strong community, and we can do this together. I'll be glad to answer any questions or deflect questions to other people that are here.
I have a question for the interim head of the water department. Yeah. A quick question.
Sure.
Did you guys know that this leak was taking place?
No, not on this 42-inch. No, ma'am. There's another line that we were working on that we'll be doing repairs at the same time, but it's not causing us any issues at this time.
Sources within the department tell me that this leak has been taking place for more than a month now. So why hasn't
on the 36-inch, not the 42. And again, those things have to be planned. And when we can plan, we don't have the outages and situations we're having now. So it was in the planning phase. As parts were being ordered for that. We're doing some of the same things we're doing on this 42-inch, that we will be doing the same on the 36 at the same time.
Two questions. Can you describe the nature of the break and also explain what it means that this pipe is underwater? Second question is, what, if any, effects will this have on people's water bills?
I can't explain the nature of the break right now because, as you said, it is partially underwater, so it's hard for us to actually know. A break can occur in many different places. The pipe can separate due to age. It can separate at a joint failing. So there are many reasons why a pipe can fail due to pressure changes or just age of the infrastructure.
When you say it's underwater, can you describe what that means for people who don't work in the plant?
It's underwater. It's in a ravine in the back is where these lines run. And because of all the water escaping that pipe, therefore it is partially underwater.
So, I'm sorry,
No, that's
it
okay.
would not be underwater typically.
In normal times, no, unless it's a rain event, and even then it would be barely. Yes.
Second question is, will this have any effect on people's water bills? And if so, what way should they expect it?
No, the leak is on our infrastructure. Therefore, it's not going to affect anybody's water bill.
Other questions?
Mayor, to be clear, how long do we believe this is going to last?
We think that there will be some relief as early as Friday. Our estimates, we were on calls last night, and they've been on calls this morning with the people who will be repairing it. The repair material is on the way, and they will start as soon as it arrives, and then they'll be able to give us a better update. They told us that yesterday that the earliest they thought they could have the bypass done is Friday.
Certainly, a lot of us are feeling inconvenience. You mentioned it as an inconvenience, but you've also mentioned it as a crisis. Can you just, in summation, why is this a crisis?
Well, it's a crisis if we don't get the pressure stabilized throughout the system so that people can flush their toilets and do that thing. You know, most of the water that we use is not drinking water; it's flushing water and bath water, and so that's something that's very important. And when we have weak water pressure, there are places where people in the city right now are not able to flush their toilets. We want to stabilize that. Believe we can stabilize that even before Friday. So at that point, it will become more of an inconvenience than a crisis.
So you mentioned that people would most likely be able to flush the toilets and get that stabilized before Friday. Can you talk, besides the toilets, what else can be done before Friday?
Well, we're still in the process of evaluating. We'll be pumping out information through media releases and information on social media. I do want to emphasize what Madam Chair said. There's a lot of bad information out there. Please use the city sources. If it doesn't have a blue check mark, it's not a city source. And please make sure that you're looking in the right places for your information. And we'll try and get not necessarily hourly, but several updates as we go. I will be doing some live updates as we go day by day so that people will know where we are and what they can expect.
Mayor, when people hear the word crisis, they typically panic buy. What's your message to our public?
Well, I on the one hand, I need to be transparent about what we're facing, and there are people who probably feel in crisis. Most of it is going to be inconvenience. I had a cold shower this morning. I had a little bit of a trickle, but not enough to get through my hot water heater, and I consider that an inconvenience. But there are going to be businesses that are affected. This is 318 Restaurant Week. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to consider it a much more than an inconvenience, and so I think I need to be upfront about what that is. But we are working as quickly as we can to equalize pressure. We think we will be able to improve that over time, perhaps not today, perhaps tomorrow, and we'll be getting out information to the public on a regular basis as we go, not necessarily having to wait for additional press conferences. So if y'all keep your eyes out on your emails and your social media so that you'll be able to disseminate the information. I appreciate all of you being here for that.
Are there any related effects to the sewer system?
No, I don't think so. I think the big issue is being able to get stuff into the sewer system.
I have a question for Fire Chief. You mentioned that if a fire hydrant doesn't have enough pressure, there's a way to be able to give it more pressure. Can you just explain that process?
Sure. You want a hydraulics class right now? Sure. But the fire engines have a way, they call it a hydrocyst, where the volume is coming in, but there's not enough pressure to put out. So we will hydrocyst from the fire hydrant, or if that fire hydrant is not sufficient, we have tankers that will be on scene that will be able to grab water from those.
And you guys will also be getting assistance from Bossier City and nearby?
Yeah, so Bossier City has loaned us their tanker. Ours is on the way, so we'll have 2 tankers in the city, and we always have mutual aid with the Caddo Fire District, so that was already in place, and those chiefs have been made aware of the crisis that we're dealing with. So again, those policies and those mutual aid agreements remain intact.
Superintendent Burton, any differences, does this situation, are you guys using kind of policies and practices that you guys learned from 2021 and the dealing with the water issues then following snow again?
Well, I think we go back to the pandemic and the lessons that we learned when we were out for months. We have purchased the infrastructure as far as I mentioned, the learning platform to be able to, at a moment's notice, switch to virtual. We have the technology needed to be able to do that. We also have created a great deal of professional development and training about doing that. Our focus now is ensuring that testing is quickly upon us, and we have already begun looking at those critical skills that students will need to prepare for that. Because even if we're in a crisis, the state is still going to test our students at the end of the year, and we want them to be successful and to be proficient, especially in the days where if a student is not reading on grade level at the end of 3rd grade, they must be retained. And so our work will be around those critical skills, ensuring that students have the technology and supporting families through flexible work hours, ensuring that teachers and principals are available.
When are students expected to go back to school, next week or sometime?
I think that's a day-to-day decision. I mean, we will be able, even this afternoon, to get a better reading on water pressure at all of our sites. But it's not just drinking water. I mean, we also have to look at sanitation. We have to be able to look at cooking. If we're under a boil advisory, that totally changes the conversation around food and nutrition. So what we will do is probably just take a very patient approach to this and ensure that we are not putting children in harm's way at all by rushing moving from virtual to in-house.
Superintendent Burton, can you go over some of the technology that will be handed out, as some parents do not have Wi-Fi or access to Wi-Fi on the spot so their children can connect it to laptops to learn?
Sure. Well, we have age-appropriate technology for our very young students. Of course, iPads are what we have determined are best. For the lower elementary, those are Chromebooks, and as we go all the way into middle school and high school, then it's the typical laptop. All students will be, as I said, we will focus all of our work around Canvas, which is our student learning platform, and they will be able to communicate with all of their teachers, receive assignments, submit assignments. If there's an issue with Wi-Fi, one of the nice things is there are many public places that have public Wi-Fi. All of our public schools have Wi-Fi. Parents can, and the nice thing, if a student has done the work at home, they can save that work on that laptop or on that device, and then they can drive to a school and upload it. Of course, in the middle of a crisis, we're not really worried about that. I mean, the main thing is to ensure that families have what they need. We do think this is going to be just several days before we are able to do that. So even if we are delaying assignments being turned in, we're going to be flexible with parents. So students not going to suffer because they don't have Wi-Fi. Okay.
Adam?
How much does that replacement part cost?
The repair, we're expecting the repair to be in the relatively low 7 figures. $1 million to $2 million. Any other questions? Thank you all very much. If you want some individual interviews, we'll hang around. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you especially for disseminating the information, for being here today, and for being our partners in protecting the community.